Good morning, everybody, and Namaste ji. How's everybody doing today? I hope you guys are staying safe, healthy, happy wherever you are during this lockdown, which feels a lot more scarier and a lot more confusing than the one we had last year. I mean, if you look at all the news, the social media out there, it's just full of death and like devastation, and we have this weird relationship now with media where one part of you like really wants to ignore everything that's happening around you, and then there's the other part which says you shouldn't ignore everything because every bit of information is like important and crucial at this stage. But whatever it is, I feel we should look at all media very objectively, and more importantly, we should not let it consume us. Also, I feel like the levels of fear, anxiety, stress, worry, frustration, and even anger for that matter is like really high in our country right now. So that's why, apart from taking care of our physical health, which I'm sure everybody's doing, I think we need to put like our mental health also in the front seat. So since travel is completely out of the question for us, I thought I would do a different kind of a video and share with you guys my daily morning routine, which is really helping me keep like active and productive throughout the day. But before we get into that, I would like to thank today's sponsors, which is Skillshare. And this is one platform which I've been waiting to actually share with you guys. So, Skillshare is an online learning community of creators by creators for creators. I feel it's an amazing space for you to explore and learn new skills, polish up existing ones, and basically just like immerse yourself in creativity. So, we've been checking out a bunch of classes, mostly to do with like film, photography, music production, obviously, but also creative writing, illustration, a couple of business classes, and even like wood carving, something which I've always wanted to do. I'm sure you've all heard of Yes Theory, one of the biggest and the most successful YouTube channels. So we've joined a class by their editor to understand, how they structure their narratives and how they create such impactful videos every single time. Another really in-depth yet straight to the point class that we've joined is called Creating a Modern Cinematic Documentary with Soul by a filmmaker named Dan Liu. There are 52 lessons in total, and the level of like information and insight provided right from coming up with the initial concept to how to interview subjects, composition, audio essentials, all the way down to how to export your final film. I feel it's all very perfectly orchestrated and packaged into a tight ad-free learning experience. I feel like free tutorials don't even come close to this.
The list of topics that the classes cover are absolutely endless, so you can pick and choose what it is that interests you and where you want to go in your creative journey. Like, I've been trying art journaling for the past few weeks, and it was something that I used to do a really long time ago, but somehow just lost touch with it. The classes are super engaging and they give you just the right amount of push to get you going. Skillshare's annual subscription is 1788 rupees. That works out to just 149 bucks a month. That's an absolute steal for the amount of knowledge and exposure you're getting. I mean, it's cheaper than some OTT platforms even. Trust us, this is money very well spent. So the first 5,000 people who join Skillshare using the link in the description will get a free 2-week trial. All the details are mentioned below.
All right, morning routines. So, the best systems are the ones that you figure out for yourself according to your own choices and your own limitations. Each individual is different. So, in no way am I asking you to follow this my morning routine, because this is something that I've tailor-made for myself, and it really helps me attack my day with a lot of clarity and a lot of objectivity. So the first thing I really need to get is a 7 to 8 hours sleep, and this is so important. So I try to go to bed by 11 and wake up by 7 or 6. The idea is to basically wake up at least an hour and a half before sunrise. Now, I do not touch my phone for the first 2 hours of waking up. And this is something I learned from someone called Jay Shetty, who's like a purpose coach. And he says, and I quote, I don't want to be externally stimulated, I want to be internally situated. And this is so true because, the last thing you want first thing in the morning is the weight of the world on your shoulders, So I avoid that phone completely. This was a very hard habit to build. In the beginning, I used to put a note on my phone saying, do not touch, just to remind me. Next, I go into the kitchen and I guzzle down at least 3 to 4 cups of water, and then I go out into my balcony, look out into the distance, and just take like deep breaths from my nose. And at this point, I'm just trying to fill my head with thoughts of like gratitude and thankfulness, basically just like kind of surrendering to the universe. And it sounds a little woo-woo, I know, when you talk about it, but when you actually do it, it's like a whole different experience. Next, I just get on to doing my usual stuff, which is brushing my teeth, cleaning up, answering nature's call. Post which, I get into my favorite part of my morning, which is the Wim Hof breathing technique. Call it meditation, call it mindfulness, whatever you want to call it. It is something I've been practicing for the past few months, and it's only in the recent past that it's kind of become like a really like a habit, and it's something I just can't do without. Now, the breathing technique is very simple. You breathe through your mouth in a way where you fill your stomach up first, then your chest, and then you release. So stomach, chest, release. Stomach, chest, release. It's almost like a wave, and I do this repeatedly for 30 times. The idea is to basically fill your lungs with as much of oxygen as you can and let the CO2 release naturally. On your last breath, once you've released all the oxygen out of your body, you hold your breath. You hold it for like a minute and a half, or 2 minutes. It depends, with each round you'll get better and you can hold your breath for longer. And once you've reached that end of 2 minutes, and your body desperately needs that oxygen, you just chug in oxygen deep and again hold, and you hold it for at least about 20 seconds to 30 seconds, whatever you feel like. And then you release. And that is like one round. So I end up doing 10 of these rounds every morning, which takes me about 1 hour to do. I know when you say it, 1 hour, it's really long. But when you're actually doing it, by the third or fourth round, you kind of lose all sense of time. Now, biologically, there's a lot of stuff happening in your body, and you can actually read up on the science behind Wim Hof breathing techniques. There's a lot of material out there. I'm not going to get into any of that, but what I am going to get into is what I'm personally feeling and what's actually going on in my head. Almost immediately you feel this really electric, like fuzzy vibrations like all throughout your body, on your chest, in your head, on your hands, and this feeling just keeps intensifying with every round that you do. And especially when you're holding your breath, man, this whole feeling is so strong. It's so strong. It almost feels as if there's a second body that is vibrating just a little higher than your own body. And this was the feeling that actually got me addicted to this breathing technique. And because I just wanted to, intensify this feeling and see how long I could prolong it. So in the beginning, I was really tripping hard on this electric feeling, but soon enough I started noticing that there were too many thoughts coming into my mind. Thoughts about what I'm going to do today, thoughts from yesterday, thoughts from the future, from the past. And there's this misconception that mindfulness or meditation is basically removing all thoughts. And I think that's just impossible to do. Thoughts are going to come. But what you can do, I feel personally, is you can separate yourself from these thoughts. So you do that by basically focusing all your energy out here in the middle of your eyes, and what happens is you start seeing these thoughts come and go, and you don't pay too much attention to it. Now this feeling of separating yourself from the thoughts is what is having a big impact on my day-to-day life. Firstly, this whole breathwork has made me extremely calm. Secondly, and more importantly, is I've started noticing that I've stopped reacting to things. There are things that frustrate me, annoy me, or bring about anger, but before I can react, I catch myself. So that is one really good thing that I've taken away from this breathing technique. Next up is the ice cold shower. Now, this is something it took me a little while to actually develop into a proper habit, And in Manali, we are very lucky because we get really fresh, cold, freezing glacial water right into our pipelines. So this works perfectly for us. So in the beginning, when I first started, the first minute or two was really uncomfortable. And I realized if you do the breath work first and then go into the shower directly, that uncomfortable time just reduces to 5 seconds or 10 seconds. In the summer, of course, this is much easier because the water isn't that cold. But in the winter, when the water is at like 2 to 3 degrees, man, that time it's really, really hard. So usually I, start off with a warm shower, but somewhere in the middle, I straight away turn it to the cold side. And the idea is to shock each and every cell in your system. And this is actually shown to actually improve your immune system as well. So not only are your showers short, your mirrors don't fog up. And at the end of the day, you come out of the shower feeling so alive and so alert. Next, I gulp down like another few cups of water, and hydration is so important, I feel, early in the morning especially. And I get ready for my final ritual, which is a 5 to 10 minute shirtless sun bath, And it's crazy because you've just come out of this cold shower and your body's like really freezing. And, you come out into the sun and the sun is sharp and it's warm, And this contrast, has a really, really nice and amazing relaxing effect on your body. Now, by this point, every cell in my body is like full of oxygen, and topped up with like vitamin D. And I'm like ready to tackle my day. And this is the point when I first pick up my phone and I start answering the emails, or I start editing my videos or composing music. Whatever I'm doing, I do it by default with the feeling of gratitude, with this feeling of separation from my own thoughts, and just basically feeling really alive. So this is the level I've kind of reached at the moment, and I'm sure like my understanding of breath work, meditation, mindfulness, whatever you want to call it, will keep increasing, as I keep learning more, keep practicing more, and trying out different permutations and combinations. Like I said before, the best systems are the ones that you figure out for yourself according to your own choices and your own limitations. Now somewhere inside Bharti and I really feel, like to think of all you guys as seekers, people who are a little adventurous at heart, and just the way you guys enjoy watching us go on these explorations and on these small little adventures externally, I feel there's a lot to be explored internally with the same level of wow factor, So I wish you best of luck in your own internal journey, and stay safe. Until the next one, Namaste ji.